Joshua, welcome. This is the studio space here at Norfolk State. So I'm going to be going through a guided practice of presence and awareness. This is very similar to what I traditionally do with my students, particularly students who have to take the gen ed courses that are not really strong movers or feel comfortable moving, to kind of do a little bit of getting comfortable in the space and everything. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm sure you can hear the air conditioning unit is pretty loud. They worked really hard in here. So I'm gonna try to come closer to the camera, and I'm gonna raise my voice a little bit more so that way it makes it easier. And then of course too, I've already dimmed the lights for the studio, which again, just kind of softening, making it easier. So I'll get started and I'll pretend like students are in here with me. Okay. So good morning, welcome. We're gonna get started. So as we begin, I invite you to come in and acknowledge the space. So what that means is that we're gonna be using big eyes, and we're gonna be taking notice of where we are, how we're feeling, how our body is connecting to the floor, noticing the temperature. It is a little bit cooler, so if you wanna keep your socks on and extra layers on, that's fine. But we're just gonna take a nice little walk. You can move fast, you can move slow, but we're just gonna move through the space. You can acknowledge anyone who can sit slow, you can move steadily on. But what we're doing is we're coming in and we're noticing how we're connecting to this room, how we are in this space. So for me, I'm noticing, how the soles of my feet, how am I walking? Feel our I'm noticing some stiffness in my body. I'm noticing how my arms are hanging. Just take a few moments. I'm gonna quiet myself so that way you can focus too. But just noticing how you are. Noticing things in the room that maybe you haven't seen before, or maybe you've seen it, but you haven't really looked at it. So just take a few walks. And how we can connect our bodies to it. So when you've come to a spot that you feel like this is a good direction of where you want to be, then I'll invite you to just gently soften that body and just notice how you are. How is your breathing? How are you carrying yourself? How do you feel today? To gently invite you to come down however you'd like to the floor. And so for me, I like to sit cross-legged, particularly my left foot closer to my body. But you can sit however you'd like. If you are cross-legged, don't worry, we're going to switch sides. So just to kind of start, I would say let's do, while we're sitting here, some wiggles. Yeah, so sitting on those sits bones, which is our tailbone, and then our glutes are connecting, and so you can just kind of take that wiggle, and then if you need to, maybe you need to lift up a little bit more. Yeah, but we're really feeling how that tailbone connects into the ground. And then when you're ready, you can just kind of soften it a little bit. Kind of let that movement resonate through, slowing down. From here, we're going to think about bit down in front of us. And then from here, what I'd like you to do is really think about your breathing. So as we inhale, maybe you're imagining the inhale, the breath is coming through the nose, traveling down through the neck, into the esophagus, down through the chest, filling up that belly. Maybe you want to expand that belly nice and big. And then as you exhale, almost like a balloon deflating, belly button comes into that spine. The air is again releasing up and out through the mouth as you exhale. So just take a few deep breaths, really focusing on that breathing. On your own breathing pattern. Inhale, so if it's bigger and deeper, maybe you arch back a little bit more, and then as you exhale, release. So take about 2 more. Again, I'm going to take my fingertips, I'm going to start wiggling them, and I'm just going to gently pat the top of my head. I'm going to come around to my face, and just kind of noticing how I'm feeling. Maybe I'm taking them across my shoulders and my chest, down my arm, the other arm. But noticing those sensations, trying to get to the back. As we go to the legs, you can release those legs and soles of the feet if you can. Just really kind of taking notice. And then from here, we're going to uncurl our legs going into a different cross setting. So again, we're going to just start with those wiggles again. So we're just noticing maybe one side feels better than the other. I have a great yoga practice teacher that always shouts out, we hold issues in our tissues. So a lot of times you might notice where you have that tightness and stiffness might be where you're holding your tension. So just kind of checking in with that. You need to do those big rocks again, feeling the sit bones. And then as we begin to settle, we're thinking about that tailbone, how it's connecting. And we're just going to start again with this soft breathing. Inhale going on your own breathing pattern, moving as fast or as slow as you would like. Thinking about how that breathing and that movement connects to each other. Different spots of our body that maybe don't get used or connected as much. So even there, I just noticed I went all the way and skipped my mid body to go right to my legs. So just acknowledging and noticing. And then when you're ready, you can take those legs out one more time. Maybe almost feeling like a little bit of a massage. Yeah. Giving that compression throughout. And then whenever you are ready, when you feel like you've done enough, yeah, just gonna kind of wiggle that out